Hey everybody, Dr. Greco here. Welcome to Ministry in a Minute. So we've been talking about freedom all week, and we discussed the foundational nature of freedom in the Bible and how God says we are free from sin, and then how Jesus describes that we are free to think. We are free to look at our world through the lens of Christ and make decisions based on that. Okay? Our foundation of freedom, the fact that we can choose to orient towards God, the fact that we can choose to process information through the lens of Christ, then leads to what? Freedom of action. We're free to live for Christ. We're free to act out our faith in a Christian manner. We can treat people the way Jesus did. We can choose to do that. And this is one of the things God describes as freedom in the Bible. And Paul, very clearly, the first verse we used this week was 1 Peter chapter 2. I love it when Peter and Paul say the exact same thing. Because Peter said, don't use your freedom to be evil, to do evil. Paul says in Galatians chapter 5, it is for freedom that Christ set us free. Okay? And he says, don't be yoked again. Don't burden yourselves with the yoke of slavery. In other words, don't be a slave to sin any longer. And then in verse 13, that's verse 1. In verse 13, he says, you were called to be free, but did not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. So Paul and Peter both very clearly say, freedom in the Bible, freedom doesn't mean you get to do what you want. It means you have the freedom to do what God tells you to do. And again, this is such the opposite of self-determination as our culture sees freedom. Freedom in America, in the West, means I get to do what I want. I'm in charge of me. God says no. Freedom means He is in charge of you. And it's crucial that we understand that our freedom isn't so that we can be in charge. It's so that we can live the way God has called us to live. Not evil, not indulging the flesh, not in charge of ourselves, not us determining what's good, bad, right, or wrong, but following God, building the kingdom, and doing what God says to do. That is true freedom. We'll see you tomorrow for another Ministry in a Minute.